Hello, this is Team Thunderbolt. It's Milestone 1 submission. The 5 mechanics we implemented were multiplayer functionality on a local multiplayer functionality, having them function on the same screen. A spiked ball that goes around the map and stuns players that collide with them, however, can be blocked in cases with holding the right button down when colliding with them. We added an NPC in the background that moves from scene to scene, from between the different areas of the map. As we'll demonstrate here, he goes from this scene all the way over here, all the way over the other side of the map to this side. The NPC functions in the background, spawning the different spiked balls that you see. Then we added a hat mechanic, hats that can be picked up and thrown at the other player. Then the other player can take them and throw them back. Then the last mechanic was a wall jump. So, spike balls can be deflected by holding the correct button for either character. However, if they aren't deflected, a character will be stunned, losing ability for 1.5 seconds. Aside from this, there's several things that we intend to fix for next week. For next week, we intend to make it so that a player can have multiple hats on their head, while only the one that they are throwing next is shown above them. We also intend to add more hats so that rather than just this base functionality of this one, where they're able to get tossed as such, hat throws are either faster, act differently, kind of like the spike balls where their movement can move around sporadically, or they have different effects on hit for the other player rather than just being added to their hat array. We also intend to have hats stack on the player as such so that they're wearing multiple hats after they get hit multiple times, whereas in current version they can only be wearing one hat. Aside from that, we're going to fix the auto jumping that's happening, so when a player hits a wall, they automatically jump whether they intended to or not. So that in situations like this, I am not currently inputting anything, yet player 1 is jumping up and down like crazy on a wall. It won't happen anymore. And then with the addition of that, we intend to add a downward dive kick so that if down input commands are happening, S for the keyboard player, which is player 1, down on the left joystick, which is player 2, then they will be able to drop drastically fast. And then we also intend to have these spike balls that are bouncing around the map knock off a hat off the top hat off a player to give them, when they stun them, to give them a slight advantage in survivability so that they don't just get knocked out when they get stunned by the other player instantly. Aside from that, we're going to change the spike ball speed so they're slower because it's kind of hard to keep track and monitor them as a player. And we're going to add different types so that rather than just stunning and knocking hats off the player, they can do different functionalities like speed or slow the player up, increase or decrease their size, so forth. We will be figuring those details out more in the coming weeks. Lastly, we're going to add a UI to display the hats that are worn on the player in the order that they're in, with making hats also spawn from the NPC who can currently only spawn the spike balls. Extra spike balls functionalities will also be spawned by NPC to be determined at a later date. Thank you very much. This is Team Thunderbolt's final submission.